I'm a little bit hoarse, but I'm gonna push through because because I'm on the phone all day because we have 60 days left. But don't let my raspiness overwhelm the fact that this is an exciting moment in history and everyone is an active participant. One of my mottos to my team is the only requirement to be a part of movement is to move. And so with 110 people on this call tonight, you are moving, you are a part of a movement and an action that Field Team 6 has created. And I'm excited to help support and sustain with voter registration. As part of our partnership since meeting Jason last summer at Netroots in Chicago, we immediately clicked. And last year was a rougher fundraising year, I'll say, but I believed in his vision and this amazing service and database that he had created along with this wonderful team, and understood the power that he was putting in partner organizations, but individuals' hands, which is to empower new people with the information and access to vote, the power to vote. One of the reasons why I started 1,000 Women Strong and we focus on organizing and building power through organizing was because there was a narrative about the work that results just happened, right? House parties don't just happen. Postcard parties don't just happen. Text banks don't just happen. These are real people putting together collective vision, infrastructure, information, and leveraging their power to create space so that we can act as a collective. And so that's why this fundraiser is so important and imperative for us to continue to see this vision grow as Field Team 6 continues to partner with organizations such as us, and we continue to touch voters. As of today, 1,000 Women Strong in partnership with Field Team 6 has contacted over 151,000 unregistered voters, and we expect to talk to over 500,000 voters in the next 2 months across 6 key states in this election that include Pennsylvania, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, and Michigan. And so as Maxwell Frost said, voting, the act of voting is a strategy within itself and is a power. And we've seen with gerrymandering, specifically with Texas, with taking over 1 million voters off the rolls. And just so this is why a constant voter registration effort is always important, because I'm gonna pull from what Jason said. If you're registered to vote, over 85% of registered voters vote in presidential elections. But if governors start to unceremoniously and quietly purge millions of voters off the voting file months before the election, those people that sent in mail-in ballots, that weathered hazardous health conditions in 2020 to make sure their vote was heard when we got Joseph Biden elected, will lose their power, will lose their access, will lose their right. So it's absolutely about talking to the 18-year-old voter, the 17 getting ready to be 18-year-old voter, to expand our electorate and talk to brand new voters. But this opportunity also gives us access to look at those purge lists and go back to people and say, hey, you're not registered to vote anymore. And if you plan to vote on this year's election, make sure you check your voter registration. Make sure you re-register as part of our ongoing strategy of how we're fighting disinformation and misinformation. So yes, it's college campuses, and yes, it's untraditional education pathways, whether it's trade schools or vocational sites. It's talking to low propensity voters or voters who only vote in major federal elections and educating them about why voting down up is our methodology. We're not going top down, we going down, finish at the top. But I like to say, leave dessert for last, but we gotta get through our vegetables. So, and all of these tactics around misinformation, disinformation, voter suppression, gerrymandering, but we have to make sure that people are educated and understand that voting is their strategic access to power and a equitable democracy in this country. As Jason mentioned before, this is not something that ends on election day, because this list, this group of people, this capacity that we're growing for new registered voters, then become advocates around the policies and the issues that matter most to their families. And so when we win, we were able to then fight for these policies across state and federal and local jurisdictions to make sure that families and individuals are living to their fullest potential and their fullest selves in this here democracy and this America that we are building. So I am extremely grateful to be in this partnership and to be a partner org that Jason has chosen to highlight for tonight. It is imperative. I personally, if we can do it, y'all, for everyone that's already donated, take the link and send it to 5 people and ask them to donate $5. If we can double the $20,000 to $40,000, that's 20,000 more unregistered voters, whether they be first-time voters, whether they be purge voters, whether they be voters that have to fix their registration because they moved in the last 6 months, and moving is hard, and getting your kids ready for school, and making doctor's appointments. And you know what? Sometimes voter registration falls to the 10th thing on your list. We have to text those people too. No one gets left behind this election period and ever again. And because of Field Team 6, we have new tools and new accesses to reach people exactly where they are, know exactly what they need in the form of this power, and ignite them and charge them, motivate them, all the things to be a part of this movement. And to the volunteers, I have to say, if you are not able to donate $1, but you donate your time, thank you. It is transferable. It is real. For every texting shift you sign up for every time you share the Mobilize link, for every time you show up to what day is this? A Wednesday evening call. A Wednesday evening call after work. This is capacity power. This is real energy and mobilization towards the end goal. So I do want to say the money is important, but the people are even more. So thank you for continuing to show up for Field Team 6, for all of its partner organizations, including 1,000 Women Strong, and let's get this thing done. And again, I charge, if you donated $10, send it to 10 people and ask them to donate $10. It is not enough to end at the exact stopping point, because we have to out-organize them in every way, and that includes our money too. We cannot look at, what's his name, Elon Musk, giving $45 million a month and be like, oh my God, we can't touch billionaire money. We might not be able to touch billionaire money, but we got real people capacity money. And so that will beat them every single time. And so thank you again. I feel like thank you again so much for being with us tonight. Please, if you'd like to learn more about 1,000 Women Strong and the work we're doing in 8 states on the ground this year, including voter registration of over 500,000 Black women, specifically in 6 of those 8 states, please visit us at 1kwomenstrong.com. Otherwise, I too will see you out there. I will be on Zoom links. I will be in mobilized text banks. I will be at house parties. I will be at rallies. I will be knocking on doors because outside of raising money, I'm a real organizer too.
Love that.
So grateful for Jason, grateful for the team, and grateful for you all tonight. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for powering through. Your voice is hoarse, but it's strong. It's strong, and amazing work that you've already texted 151,000 unregistered Black women who are likely Democrats in these swing states. That is beautiful
Absolutely.
work, on your way to 500,000. So let's get there. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being such a badass and my hero. Seriously. It's a huge honor to be in this fight alongside you.
No
So
worries. I appreciate you. East to
you're
West
amazing.
Coast. We're gonna figure this out.
And
Are there any questions, or I'll put myself back on mute?
we will. Well, we're gonna do questions and answers
At the end? Okay, I'll go
Yes.
mute.
Yeah. We absolutely will. And we have the links for 1,000 Women Strong in the chat. Please follow them everywhere, like I do.
Hey,
And
I'm reading your mind again, Jason.
oh, what am I thinking?
You're thinking, I'll bet you 40 people have donated from this call, and you're probably thinking 2850 has been raised already.
Hey, nice. That is what I was thinking.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Thank you. Yes, keep donating. Keep this going strong. Let's see how close we can get to $20,000.
So based on our metrics from the 22 cycle, 2850 would mean how many registered new Democrats in battleground states? It's a trick question.
That's 2,850 new
that's right.
Democrats and independent voters in swing states. That's huge. That's huge. So keep going. Keep it going. Thank you.
Wait a second. I just got a direct message. There is a match. There is a match for the next 1,000 in donations. What?
Amazing.
Next 1,000 in donations. So yes, that person who DM'd me, I did get your message. Thank you for doing it again, because DMs and chat just go by. They just crazy go by. But thank you for doing it again. So just every $10 that you donate actually means 20 right there.
Right. And that's in that matching grant. $1,000 is specifically in honor of 1,000 Women Strong.
That's right. That's right. In honor of 1,000 Women Strong. By the way, that is an amazing partnership, right? 500,000 Black women who are unregistered, likely Democrats, in 6 states that we are partnered to reach out to together. It's Field Team 6 data and infrastructure. It is their volunteers, and we're raising money tonight to help pay for it. So
and their messaging.
On the fence.
And their messaging.
And I was on a call the other day, and somebody said, you should give until it hurts. And then you should keep giving until it stops hurting. So start with give until it hurts. All right. Back to you, Jason.
Awesome. Thank you. So now let's hear from another national hero, Santiago Mayer, brilliant leader of the National Youth Organization Voters of Tomorrow. The voters they register, educate, and represent will also make the difference between defeat and victory. So Santiago, talk to us about the trails you and Voters of Tomorrow have been blazing.
For sure. And first of all, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Dale, for putting this together. This is incredible, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm Santiago, and I do have beef with Jason because I think we need to figure out which one of us was the happiest man alive at the DNC. I think I've got you beat.
Do a happy off.
But like I said, I'm incredibly excited to be here. I want to share a little bit about our work, our partnership with Field Team 6, and really everything that each dollar that people donate is going to do. Earlier today, we announced an incredible program that is contacting 30,000 voters in the 11 most competitive swing states across country, encouraging them to register. So these are all unregistered voters. We're sending them mail, we're calling them, we're texting them to make sure that they register and cast a ballot. And all of this obviously costs money. We have previously made a commitment to have 20 million direct voter contacts this cycle. To put that in perspective, that is 20 million conversations that we're going to have with young voters, reminding them about what is at stake in this election, because it is everything. I can say, for those of you who know me, you already know this, but for those of you who don't, I'm a Mexican immigrant. I have been doing this work since the Trump administration. I lived in fear that I would be deported because I hurt his staff's feelings. And if you don't believe me, go look at Stephen Miller's Twitter feed from 2022 and see how hurt that man was. And what we have realized now is that there are thousands of people like me. There are millions of people that care about people like me. And there are thousands of people who are willing to get to work, who are willing to turn out, not just for people like me, but for women, for the LGBTQ plus community, for people, the trans community, for every marginalized community that there is in America that Republicans are waging a war against. And we have to be clear about what they're doing. They're waging a war against young people, against marginalized communities, and against freedom and liberty as we know in the United States. So those are some of the main points that I wanted to touch on. But I think it's important that we realize how important the work is and how important the specific way to do the work is. Because Maxwell, the incredible congressman from Florida, is absolutely right. We cannot chastise people who are uncomfortable voting. We cannot scream at them we cannot scream them into the voting booth. What we have to do is we have to have conversations. We need to be able to talk to them in a way that they understand, in a way that talk to them in places where they already are. And what I love the most about Voters of Tomorrow and about our partnership with Field Team 6 is that we're doing the work. We are on the ground. We're talking to these people. We're having young people who speak their language, who understand what they're going through, make those phone calls, send those texts, have those 20 million conversations. And when we do that, when we tell people from one young person to another what is at stake, when I am able to go tell my friends, I know that it's uncomfortable for you right now, but when you walk into that polling place, you're not casting a ballot for a candidate you're in love with, but you're casting a ballot for your sister. You're casting a ballot for your trans friend. You're casting a ballot for me if you care about me. We get people to care. We get people to understand. We make sure that people have a reason to cast that uncomfortable ballot, or in most cases, to cast a very excited ballot, because we have an incredible candidate right now. A candidate that says it every time she speaks, a candidate that loves Gen Z. And I think it is incredibly important that we show her that we are here for her, that we are here for Governor Walz, that we are here for Democrats up and down the ballot, because that's what matters. We need to elect people up and down the ballot, because the people that make the most difference in your life are the people that you've never heard of. They are the people that work in your city. They are the people that work in your county. They are the people that you never know anything about because they are doing their jobs. And what I think everyone in this country wants and needs is candidates and politicians that we can forget about, that we can just let run the country while we live our lives, where we don't have to be glued on Twitter and the news and every social media app, seeing what mess they created today. That's what Gen Z wants. We want normalcy. We want a candidate that's going to make our lives better without us having to fight him every step of the way. We want a vice president who can go out and buy pie, not a vice president who can't order a donut. And we need a vice president who isn't parading around his dog talking about how he's not biting Secret Service agents. Come on. We need serious people. We need serious leaders, and Gen Z is ready to deliver them. Gen Z is ready to work for them. Gen Z is ready to elect them. And as Maxwell Frost showed it before, Gen Z is ready to be them. So I ask everyone here, if you have $5, $10, $15, chip in, because every single one of those dollars, every single one of those cents is going directly into mobilizing voters, into turning out voters, into electing Vice President Harris, into electing Governor Walz, and in electing a majority that's going to fight for young people. And it's going to fight for not just young people, but everyone's future, because it's all of our futures on the line. And with that, I will throw it back to Jason to introduce our next incredible speaker, who I'm particularly excited about.
Oh, I meant to add a spotlight, not replace you so fast. Sorry. You're amazing. Yes, Gen Z is ready to be those leaders. And thank you so much for your leadership and for just registering and mobilizing young voters in this election and beyond. And thank you for prosecuting the case like the legendary woman we are about to elect. Amazing work. And now let's hear from another amazing organizer, Sonia Mehta. Her organization, They See Blue, which is a play on Desi Blue, They See Blue, uses an algorithm they developed themselves to pull lists of South Asians from our database, our secret weapon, this database of unregistered likely Democrats. This algorithm pulls lists of South Asians from that database with incredible accuracy. And then They See Blue does the outreach to register them. So Sonia, please tell us more about your absolutely critical work. And I just one question: are Desi's excited at all about our presidential candidate?
We are. Thanks so much, Jason. Thank you,
Thank
Dale.
you.
It's been a pleasure to partner with you these last few years. And we had the opportunity to elect someone who truly represents us, represents the incredible diversity of this country. And I'm really fired up by all of the amazing speakers on tonight's call, and just the focus on organizing, on building people power, on building cross-cultural coalitions. That's really what we're doing at They See Blue. So as Jason started to mention, so They See Blue is a South Asian coalition, volunteer-run, national. We have over 20 chapters, primarily in swing states and districts. We are intergenerational. We have high school students up to retirees working basically to reach out to fellow South Asians, also known colloquially as Desis. And we basically we pair a laser-like focus with data. We partner with organizations like Field Team 6 to use this algorithm that some of the members of our team developed back in 2018. It's a Python program that can be applied to any voter file data set to extract South Asian American names so that we can then do peer-to-peer outreach and leverage cultural connection, make people feel comfortable, make people feel welcomed into the process, so that first-time voters feel like there's a place for them in this democracy, and feel comfortable taking that step to engage civically, maybe for the very first time. One story that I really love is so They See Blue got its start in California, working in the Central Valley of California in 2018 in communities like Tracy and Modesto and Fresno, swing districts where there is a large Sikh Punjabi community. And that was the first place that we used our algorithm and partnered with campaigns and with the party to basically gather a list of people that we could go do peer-to-peer outreach with. And I remember hearing the story of some of our volunteers walking up to a house, and it was a family that had never really participated in the process before, but they were invited in for chai, invited our volunteers in, sat down with the family, went over their ballot with them, helped to demystify the process and connect with them. And then that family ended up calling a whole bunch of their community members and saying, we need to get out and participate. This is our community and we want to take ownership over it. And we now feel empowered with this knowledge and with this ability to engage civically. So yeah, we're really honored to partner with Field Team 6, doing incredible work. Dale let me know earlier today, I'm going to pull up these numbers, that we have just identified 300,000 Desi or South Asian names in the Field Team 6 database. And tonight we are actually raising the funds to pay for that outreach via text and email. So using that cultural connection paired with this use of data to really figure out how do we reach people where they are and welcome them into this process. So that's the first thing we're raising funds for tonight. And then the second thing is Field Team 6 has purchased almost 10 million additional voter files that we can then run our program through and then extract those names. And the last thing I'll say is that we have shared this approach with other communities. We're working with Latinx communities, with other Asian American communities, because when you register to vote, you are maybe the demographic information is not so granular. It only kind of goes so far, right? We have very coarse information, but if we can then get a little more focused and speak to people in a language that they can understand and make them feel like this is a country that is for them as well, and we have a candidate now who is emblematic of that, then we can grow the coalition, we can grow the pie, we can actually radically transform this country. And so we're really grateful to be in coalition with all of you. Wonderful to hear from all of you. And if you know of anyone who's South Asian or who would be interested in our work, there will be some links in the chat. You please send our information to them. And we, yeah, it's just such an honor to be here. Thank you for everything. Oh, and the last thing I want to say is that my dad, Sunil Mehta, is on the call. We are doing this work together. He had never been civically engaged until Trump was elected. He always paid attention, but was kind of on the sidelines, and then got in the game in the last few years. And it's been such an honor and a blessing to get to do this work with my dad. And there are many other parent, child, grandparent, families doing this work together. That's really how we transform.
Love it.
So thanks so much.
Love it so much. That is seriously beautiful and moving. And thank you, Sonia, for what you do, for all you do with They See Blue. Field Team 6 is super proud to have worked with They See Blue for the last 2 cycles, and we got to keep going. You are amazing. The genius techniques that you bring to this fight make us better. They make us better organizers. They make the whole fight more effective. And so thank you for being amazing. And thank you, Sunil. Thank you to the one of the royal families of organizing, the Mehta family. Thank you. You're amazing. Awesome. Okay. We have.
Should I read your mind? Should I read your mind now?
I'll read my mind again. Yeah, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, you probably want to know how many people have donated from this call. And I can't really see in the back end here how many people donated more than once, but I know from the chat that people are donating more than once, and it's really because of Maxwell Alejandro Frost and the leaders of these 3 amazing organizations that we're partnered with. By the way, we have 64 individuals who have donated, and we've raised $48.45, which means that we've triggered that $1,000 matching grant. So that brings up to $58.45 right there.
Beautiful, beautiful, amazing. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. And so please keep going. We're not done yet. We're just going to go a little bit over. I'd say about 6:15, I would say, because we want to keep donating. We got to keep this going. And we want to hear from, we have a special guest organization here, Women for Harris Walls. They are a national juggernaut. They are another one of these amazing organizations that has teams within the organization because they're just organizers par excellence. So forgive my français. So yes, Julia Larkin, who is the social media co-lead for Women for Harris Walls, is joining us tonight. Julia, can you tell us about your amazing work? And in like say 2-3 minutes, and then we'll open it up to Q&A with you and Sonia, Shakya, and Santiago.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. And thank you for having us on. I'm going to drop the link to donate again in the chat because my day job is a fundraiser. So if you haven't donated yet, please go and do that. And if you have donated, send that link to 3 or more friends and get them to donate as well, because it's going to take all of us to win this election in November. But I am here representing Women for Harris Waltz. We were originally Women for Biden. We had started organizing during the 2020 election cycle. Just a few women who was looking for something to do during the pandemic when we all went remote and looking to channel our anxiety into action. Because as Speaker Nancy Pelosi says, we don't agonize, we organize. And that's what women do best. Because when women show up, we win. And so Women for Harris, we are a grassroots coalition of over 1 million women across the country working to preserve and energize our democracy. We're committed to making Kamala Harris the first woman president and ensuring Democrats win up and down the ballot. Because it's not enough for just keeping the White House. We have to grow and expand our Senate majority so we can get rid of the filibuster and pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act, pass the For the People Act, and take action on abortion access. And in order to do that, we also need to take back the House. Speaker Mike Johnson was one of the key architects behind the legal efforts to overturn the 2020 election. We do not want him holding that gavel when it comes time to certify those 2024 election results. We need to make sure we have Speaker Hakeem Jeffries overseeing that to preserve democracy and boot the chaos caucus out of the majority. And we've seen the results and we have the momentum. And as women, we recognize real progress when we see it. The Biden-Harris administration brought us forward, but there's more work to be done. And Kamala Harris is going to get the job done for all of us. And since the 2022 elections wrapped up, over 8 million teenagers have aged into the electorate. So it's on all of us to find these folks, make sure they're registered to vote, and then get them to turn out to vote. And it's going to take all of us to do that. So again, please donate if you haven't already. And send that link to any friends and family, and make sure you're having conversations in your community to get folks registered. And I will turn it back over to you, Jason.
Unmuting is it's a powerful tool, I find, on a Zoom. Thank you so much, Julia, for your incredible work. Thank you, Women for Harris Walls. It was great to meet you in person at the convention. And thank you so much for what you're doing. Let's keep doing it. 62 days left. So let's open it up to Q&A. If we could spotlight, yes, Shakya and Sonia and Santiago and Julia and me.
62 days, by the way, and we've raised $6,200. So there we go. There we go.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Awesome. Yes. Let's see what questions we have. Okay. Please put your questions in the chat for any or all of us.
While we're waiting for questions, can I just talk about how imperative everyone, because I went first, so I didn't get to see all the other organizations, especially Sonia's work and the hyper-specific demographic and culturally competent focused work that organization is doing. People might not get it, but let me break something down for you. In 2020, when we went from the general to the runoff, over 40,000 registered voters in Georgia that come from South Asian or AAPI descent were misidentified as Black voters. I didn't know Sonia yet, but I know Sonia now. But at the time, we worked with an organization to clear that up, because if we're doing culturally competent organizing and we're saying we see people and meet them where we are, these data systems are flawed, y'all. And they were established a lot of the time by state attorney generals that are racist and that do not see the entire demographic and everyone in their state as whole and full citizens. So as we continue to do this work and we talk about the data, yes, this is all people powered and it's all from a place of love, but us cleaning up the data makes us better organizers. So I just wanted to highlight that and say that, sometimes the numbers get a little jarring, but to hear that you've identified over 300,000 households that now you can speak to in a genuine and righteous way through this process, I am just so excited to be in partnership with the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to also add that at our Georgia chapter kickoff for They See Blue, which I was there 2 weeks before the pandemic hit, we were actually launching that chapter in partnership with Stacey Abrams. So she was there with us on the ground. We were building multiracial coalitions rooted in that culturally competent, culturally connective organizing model, year-round organizing model that folks talked about tonight. It's not just about showing up, right around election time, but it's about building power in communities in collaboration with people on the ground all the time, year round. And so, Shakya, I think we've been kind of crossing paths, doing the good work. It's really good to be on the call, and thank you so much for the shout out for our work. Really appreciate it.
Hey,
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you to these three partners and Julia for being here. But also, I wanted to throw a spotlight on that sentence that Sonia said when she was talking about the 300,000 that we've identified of VC names that are in our database. That was before last week when I bought the 9.8 million new records. And so this is for you, Santiago. This is for you, Shakya, as well. We have 9.8 million new records that are not even ingested all the way into our database yet. They're still in the process. But what that means is we're going to have more youth data. We're going to have more Black women data in all of the states that we want to work in. And we haven't run the VC Blue algorithm against that 9.8 million records. So that 300,000 is going to get dwarfed. So yeah, we have work to do. There's not a lot of time yet. There's 62 days and deadlines start hitting at the first week in October. But if you were wanting a reason why fundraising matters, fundraising will help go. The part that Field Team 6 takes from tonight's raise will go towards that data that we bought. And then we always provide the data for free to our partners. And we set up the voter registration outreach on our side of the wall so that we're not sharing the data and not in breach of contract with our contracts with the data vendors. However, we don't charge for that data. So the outreach that we are doing, that data gets paid for by our fundraising. And then our partners, the work that we're raising tonight for our partners, we can raise that. That money goes towards the outreach part. So that text, the cost of the text or the cost of the email or the cost of, whatever else outreach that we're working on. So if you haven't donated already, jump in there. If you've donated already, jump in there. If you haven't sent that link to 10 friends yet, please do so. That was a great idea. Whoever said that, I think it was Shakya.
Yes,
That was you,
Shakya.
Sam. Love that.
Yes. Spread the
pasting it
word
right now. There you go. So
Love
anyway, long story short, that was a long way of saying, like, we have even more work than the work that we're already doing that we could do and we would love to do with each of you. So
That's true. That's true. Here's a question I'd love to hear. The answer to. Someone asked, which swing state is the most important to focus on? We know it's a lot, but maybe we can just go around here. What your most right now you think the most important one is? Can you even? Let
Let me take a
Every
stab at
vote
it.
matters. No one's left behind. Every vote matters. No one's left behind.
Absolutely.
That is the mark of a true democracy.
Yes, it's true. We had Field Team 6 had 12 target states. We now have 13 because we saw the poll with Angela also Brooks neck and neck with popular Republican Governor Larry Hogan in Maryland. It's
who's
not
also
really,
known as neck and neck.
right. He's kind of, if you've seen a picture of him, he's kind of neck and neck with himself, but he's kind of a neck. Not really a good word choice, but there's so many important states. I mean, you could argue Montana for the Senate, Montana or Ohio.
You might
throw a
pick up
wild
one
card in
Nebraska
there.
electoral vote. Like, things are getting wild, y'all. Things are getting wild.
Let me
Throw
throw
out
a wild card in
2020
there because
map.
I
We got to talk to every voter. That's why every dollar is important, because I don't want to decide which Black household, woman household is the most important to get to our electoral goal in November. Every household is important. And every combination of conversation, and then when folks see each other at work because they all got our text and then they all talking, it's all a synergy. Like Maxwell Frost said, we are a part of a multi-pronged, multi-generational, multi-ethnic, multiracial, multi-class strategy to build out this democracy. So
yes,
no one is more
generational.
important than the other.
Yes,
Santiago, you've been trying to answer this question.
I was trying, but no, first of all, Shakya's absolutely right. Donate so that we don't have to pick one, because I also don't want to pick which Gen Zer we're texting or which one we're not. But I do have a wild card, not the most important one, but I think the one that's going to shock the most people. And it's going to be two, just because one is easier than the other, and if I only say the second one, people are going to cancel me online. I think we can win both North Carolina and Texas. I really do. We
Love
have
it.
been seeing some incredible numbers out of there. And listen, Donald Trump has no path to 270 without either of those. I think we have the numbers. I think we have the organizing power. North Carolina has an incredible state party chair in Anderson Clayton, the first Gen Z party chair in the country. Honored to consider her a friend. And she is a powerhouse. The program that she has put together, the program that Texas Democrats and organizations in Texas are putting together are so incredible. And again, the votes are there. We just have to turn them out. So again, if you have $5, $10, $15, chip in so that we can not only make sure that we win the states that we need to win, but that we're able to expand the map, that we're able to build a stronger and bigger majority that's going to give us the votes that we need to get shit done.
Love it.
Preach. I love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And because we have seen this we've undergone this amazing transformation in like no time at all, because President Joe Biden, besides being an amazing president, is a good human being. And though it killed him, he even in an interview said God Almighty would have to tell him to get out of the race. He did it anyway. He let go of his ego. He did the right thing. He passed the torch to the next generation and unleashed this tidal wave of love. And because he did that, our political Olympian, Kamala Harris, has stuck the landing on top of that tidal wave, like with grace and confidence and joy, and just stepped up with insane leadership that has expanded the map. And all these states that we saw fading away, North Carolina, oh no, they're back in vibrant color. The whole map is in play. We saw a poll yesterday where Nebraska, one of the reddest states in the union, not just the red dot, but in a statewide poll, Dan Osborne, who is running for Senate there and would caucus, he's an independent, but would caucus with the Democrats, is 1 point behind. So we won't know until it happens what we are able to do with this, with our new amazing ticket. Yeah, Dan Osborne is amazing. I checked out his site. It could not be, you couldn't fit more red on a website. It looks so Republican. He has military/college football font, which are the two most beloved things in Nebraska. and he has progressive ideas couched in Republican language. It's a very smart stealth Democrat. Yep. Like you're saying in the chat, Julie. Awesome. Should we wrap it up? Should we wrap it up? Yeah, it's tough.
I think we should wrap it up. Are we interested in finding out the latest numbers?
We are.
I'm refreshing right now.
You are.
We have 73 separate donors. Many have given more than once. We have raised $64.85.
Yay, amazing. Thank you. That is fantastic.
Okay, so how this works is that when the Zoom ends, it doesn't mean that link goes dead. So everybody, please paste that link into an email to yourself or a text to yourself or to your mom or whatever it takes. And then that way you can keep sharing it over the next few days. Every time you think about it, just share it to a few more people and let's bring that number up. I'll bet you somebody else is going to do a matching grant after seeing the matching grant that came in earlier tonight. And so your donation or your friend's donation or your mom's donation is going to mean twice as much and they won't even know it. So that's great. I think we should say that that Field Team 6 is adding $5,000 to the total tonight. So that brings our total to $11,485.
Yay, nice. That's awesome. That is awesome.
All right. The Zoom is over, but the fundraiser isn't. So go with God, everybody.
Yes. Oh, not quite yet. I just want to say final comments. Can't gotta give you some booster rocket for the next 62 days. So I thank you so much to everyone on this call for being badasses, for being leaders, being the leaders who do the work that wins us our democracy. Thank you so much to all of our speakers. Shakya Cerry-Donaldson, 1,000 Women Strong. Santiago Mayor, Voters of Tomorrow. Sonia Mehta, They See Blue. Congressman Maxwell Alejandro Frost. Don't forget Julia Larkin from the amazing Women for Harris Walls. Thank you to Helen Zeldis for being instrumental to putting this event together. Thank you to the Field Team 6 volunteer staff who make these Zoom events go so smoothly. And thank you to everyone here again for all you do and all you're going to do in 62 days. Keep volunteering, keep donating. There is literally nothing better to spend your money and hours on. I want you to remember that we have so much more now than we did in 2016. And the biggest thing that we have now is us, a resistance, a movement, a national activist infrastructure that has been winning elections like crazy for 8 years now. So we are here to answer this deep ugly in our country with a deeper beauty. We're here to make sure that November 5th is the answer to January 6th. And we're here as activists because we don't just watch the news. We make the news. Volunteer, donate, win. Let's go. Come on.